and welcome back to yet another exciting week of the Lazy Money Game. In this week's episode, I will give an update to my portfolio and share the latest goal which I have achieved within this week, and finally, I will share some market news as well. So let's start with a portfolio update. The first thing we immediately notice is that there's a green circle for this week's episode, meaning that the portfolio is up in value compared to last week. If we go to the portfolio values tab here, then we can see that the portfolio has increased with $5,700 compared to last week. And we can see that we are getting closer to the previous record within the portfolio. So despite the fact that we saw this quite significant dip from week 23 to week 24, we can see that we have almost recovered that in week 25. If we then continue to my favorites tab, namely the dividends tab, then we can see that I have received a little more than $28, and the $28 came from Viatris, so this is the first time that I have received a dividend from this spin-off. I'm truly happy to have received that, since I have now surpassed the $900 mark in quarterly dividends for the first time ever in my portfolio. And as I mentioned in the beginning, that actually means that I have now fulfilled one of my goals, so I have now achieved level 29 on this financial independency journey. You could of course argue that I have achieved this goal earlier if we go back to the dividends tab, because if we look at the dividends from February, March and April, meaning 3 months trailing, there I have received a little more than $900, but I like to keep this as actual quarters, so Q1 will mean literally January, February and March, and Q2 will be April, May and June. So I'm simply just following the regular calendar. Instead of saying 3 months in a row, I just use the regular quarters. And now that we are onto the topic of dividends, then I'm happy to share that Simon Property has increased their dividend by close to 8%, since they have now declared a dividend of $1.40 per share instead of $1.30 previously. So they have actually increased the dividend by 7.7%. So if we go back to the portfolio overview and look here at Simon Property Group, I will just zoom in a bit here to make it even more clear. We can see that I have 31 shares of Simon Property in my portfolio, and currently I'm receiving a payment of a little more than $41 every single quarter. So now that they have raised the dividend, that means that I will receive $44 instead, before any taxation. I know that $3 a quarter in extra dividend income is not going to change my life today. And I know a lot of people will try to discourage you from doing this kind of investing style, simply because they would say, well, why are you caring about $3 in extra income per quarter when your portfolio is fluctuating by thousands of dollars from week to week? Well, there I kindly remind myself and you about Benjamin Graham's wise words that in the short run, the market is a voting machine, but in the long run, it is a weighing machine. So I'm trying to buy businesses when I think they are attractively valued, and then I will see them growing their business and their dividends over the long run. But how much they will fluctuate from week to week, I cannot control. I can only try to take advantage of that and say I will buy them if I find them attractively valued. And if they are too richly valued, then I would consider selling them. But in the meantime, I will simply hold on to them and see them growing the dividends, so I will slowly but surely increase my passive stream of income. And what I truly like about this investment style is it doesn't require an extreme amount of intelligence. There is no ridiculously complicated math required to do this form of investments. I mean, of course, you have to sit down and spend a significant time trying to learn more about how to evaluate individual businesses if you have any business in trying to pick individual stocks. But the good news is, even if you don't want to buy individual businesses, you can actually still follow this investment style because you can buy an index fund or you can buy an ETF that pays out a dividend. And there you're simply just buying the whole haystack instead of trying to search for the needle in it, which I'm trying to do when I'm picking individual businesses. If we then turn to the financial news, then Warren Buffett has chosen to resign from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I will of course include a link in the description to this news article. And a lot of speculation has been going around whether this is due to the fact that Bill and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce. But as it is pointed out in this article, it's not related to that. It is simply due to the fact that Warren Buffett has resigned from most of his trustee functionalities, except of course from Berkshire Hathaway. And as Warren Buffett points out in this article, he loves this game, but he must admit that his life is not in the fourth quarter anymore. Now it has moved into overtime, so perhaps it is time for him to step down. So that actually sums it up for yet another exciting week of the Lazy Money Game. If you have any questions, then don't hesitate to write them in the comments down below or send me an email. And if you like content like this, then please consider leaving a like on the video or consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. And until I see you next Sunday, bye!